CDC says it's identified first documented cases of HIV transmitted through cosmetic needles. Researchers discover new antibiotic produced by Staphylococci. China is gunning for the chief scientist of its COVID vaccine project. CDC says it's identified first documented cases of HIV transmitted through cosmetic needles. Researchers discover new antibiotic produced by Staphylococci. China is gunning for the chief scientist of its COVID vaccine project, accusing him of serious discipline and law violations.
Russell Brand says, baptism is opportunity to leave past behind amid sex assault allegations. 0. Gerard Depardieu will stand trial in October for sexual assaults on film set. 0. Ethan Hawke lost the Oscar for Training Day, and Denzel Washington whispered in his ear that losing was better. You don't want an award to improve your status.
China now home to 369 unicorns, with an average value of $3.8 billion, led by AI and semiconductor firms, report says. 0. Tether buys $200 million majority stake in brain-to-computer interface company BlackRock Neurotech. 0. Tencent has increased its shareholding in Remedy to almost 15%.
Sandbox escape vulnerabilities in Judge Zero expose systems to complete takeover. Google prevented 2.28 million malicious apps from reaching Play Store in 2023.
China-linked, muddling meerkat, hijacks DNS to map internet on global scale. 0. Taiwan's semiconductor firm KYEC to exit mainland China amid geopolitical tensions, changes in cross-strait chip supply chain. 0. AI priest quickly defrocked after giving users oddball answers, taking confessions like real clergyman. U.S. extends authorization for some energy transactions otherwise subject to Russia sanctions. 0. Western banks in Russia paid €800 million in taxes to Kremlin last year. 0. White House eyes Russian uranium import ban while House bill stalls.
Tucker Carlson interviewed Putin's ideologue, whose daughter was murdered. 0. Jerry Seinfeld says TV comedy is being killed by the extreme left and PC crap and people worrying so much about offending other people. 0. It's all in the smile. Aston University-led research finds politicians can influence voters with facial expressions.
NATO Secretary General in Kyiv announced that Ukraine is on an irreversible path to NATO. Support will continue. 0. NATO has had no designs against Russia, will never have them, Blinken claims. 0. Duchess Sophie visits Ukraine in first trip by a British royal since start of war. Protesters call for Islamic State in Germany. Caliphate is the solution, and Germany's Scholz calls for consequences following Islamist rally. 0. The Taliban are working to woo tourists to Afghanistan. 0. Women win, urination equality fight in Amsterdam.
Named after Putin, China launches first of the 8-hangar-class submarine built for Pakistan.
Israel kills Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps operative in Iran, claimed in the report. 0. Houthis attack Israel-linked ship in Indian Ocean, 2 U.S. warships in Red Sea.
German sickness rates remain at a very high level. 0. In Nigeria, Yobe records 85 deaths, 25 recover in 4 months from cerebrospinal meningitis. 0. All neighborhoods in Sao Paulo have a dengue epidemic, says Bulletin.
Russia to enforce crypto restrictions. exempting miners and central bank projects. 0. Wasabi wallet developer blocks U.S. citizens and residents after Samurai wallet arrests. 0. Stablecoin trading volume outpaces Visa's 2023 monthly average.
With the last chapter, Scooby-Doo live-action series in the works at Netflix. Russell Crowe, Rami Malek and Michael Shannon Nazi historical thriller Nuremberg to launch sales through WME Independent in Cannes. The Daily Show, with return host Jon Stewart, confirms plans for 2024 Republican and Democratic conventions. NBC prepares $2.5 billion a year bid to block NBA rights from TNT. NASA's optical comms demo transmits data over 140 million miles.
Former SOC Jin trader Kataria says he was fired for undetected bets. 0. Blockchain sleuth Elliptic explores AI and anti-money laundering, using 200 M Bitcoin transactions. 0. AE 0. Crypto was one of the biggest money laundering risks in 2022 and 2023, as per UK government's report. Microsoft will invest $2.2 billion in cloud and AI services in Malaysia. 0. NVIDIA supplier SK Hynix says HBM chips almost sold out for 2025. 0. 8 U.S. newspapers sue ChatGPT maker OpenAI and Microsoft for copyright infringement.
It has been commented as, while Kremlin focuses on Ukraine, rest of post-Soviet space disappearing before our eyes. 0. 5 killed in Russian missile attack, as Ukraine's Harry Potter castle goes up in flames. 0. India receives oil cargo in Russian SCF tanker after brief halt, sources say, and reportedly, India saved $13 billion by importing discounted Russian crude. Trump admits he told Secret Service to take him to Capitol on January 6 in rambling campaign rally. 0. Trump explains his militaristic plan to deport 15 to 20 million people. 0. Donald Trump's law firm doesn't want to represent him anymore.
Trump's disturbing Time interview shows he has no idea abortion is a ticking time bomb for the GOP. 0. Trump says a lot of people like it when he floats the idea of being a dictator. 0. Arizona lawmakers vote by a narrow margin to repeal Civil War-era abortion ban.
In the UK, Civil Service Union starts legal action against government over Rwanda deportation plan. 0. Ireland to redesign 8 UK as safe for asylum. 0. UK begins detaining migrants set to be deported to Rwanda. 0. Empire and slavery did not make Britain rich, finds new IEA book. 0. Donald Tusk claims Poles will be richer than Brits by 2029 as it's better to be in the EU.
Says gas vehicles likely to stay in lineup beyond 2030. Stellantis misses forecasts with 12% revenue drop in Q1, sees stronger H2. Tesla retreats from next-generation gigacasting manufacturing process.
iOS 18 rumored to add deep integration between calendar and reminders. 0. iOS 17.5 beta lets you keep Find My on during iPhone repairs. 0. Google paid Apple $20 billion in 2022 to be default Safari search engine.
GM ends OnStar driver safety program after privacy complaints. 0. In the U.S., senators widen. Markey reveal automakers provide detailed location information to law enforcement without a warrant, rarely notify car owners. Request FTC investigate broken promises to protect drivers' privacy. 0. United Health says hackers potentially stole a third of Americans' data.
Aston Martin's new 824 horsepower twin-turbo V12 will power a forthcoming flagship. 0. BMW to ditch ion gas cars. Keep it only for EVs. 0. Daimler CEO calls missing electric truck chargers a top concern.
Wall Street Journal comments as Beijing braces for a rematch of Trump versus China. 0. U.S. moves to bar Huawei. other Chinese telecoms from certifying wireless equipment. 0. Baidu, Tesla agree on mapping deal for FSD in China, sources say. Boebert bill to remove endangered species protections for gray wolves, just passed the House. 0. Long-predicted consumer pullback finally hits restaurants like Starbucks, KFC, and McDonald's. 0. Adrian Newey to leave Red Bull after 19 years. Hong Kong holds base rate at 5.75%, while U.S. Federal Reserve assures market that delayed rate cuts have not been derailed. As in the U.S., Federal Reserve holds interest rates at 23 years high, citing lack of further progress on inflation. 0. De-dollarization is happening at a stunning pace, Jen says. 0. SEB lifts Swedish GDP view and sees key rate cut in May. United Methodist Church lifts bans on LGBTQ clergy and same-sex weddings. 0. In Brazil, evangelical pastor says abused children are also to blame and generates anger. 0. UK investigates OnlyFans over claims children can access porn.
In the U.S., FAA bill overcomes first Senate hurdle ahead of May 10 deadline. 0. Welsh Senate members consider criminalizing lying by politicians. 0. Fox News takes down Hunter Biden mock trial miniseries after lawsuit threat.
Korea to focus on fostering console game industry over the next 5 years, announced by Culture Ministry. 0. Take-Two reportedly shutting down OlliOlli and Kerbal Space Program 2 developers. 0. Hundreds more layoffs incoming at VFX firm DNEG.
Tesla slashes its summer internship program to cut costs, as Elon Musk fights to save his $45 billion pay plan. 0. Trump awarded 36 million more Trump media shares worth $1.6 billion after hitting price benchmarks. 0. Whistleblower, who accused Boeing supplier of ignoring defects dies. 0. Oxfam announces that global dividend payouts to shareholders rise 14 times faster than worker pay since 2020.
Five human skeletons, missing hands and feet, found outside house of Nazi leader Hermann Göring. 0. European Union marks 20 years since Big Bang enlargement. 0. Biden blames China, Japan and India's economic woes on his xenophobia. 0.
At last, the banned episode of Bluey is on YouTube. 0. Daniel Radcliffe says, rupture with J.K. Rowling over trans rights is really sad. 0. Former Nickelodeon producer Schneider sues Quiet on Set makers for defamation, sex abuse implications. Toyota's $9.9 billion Robo-City, near Mount Fuji, almost ready to welcome 2,000 residents by 2024 end. 0. Jakarta is sinking. Indonesia's $30 billion plan to relocate 11M residents to new capital starting October 2024. 0. North Carolina child's monster in the closet was in fact 50,000 bees in the wall.
Israeli researchers see major drop in international cooperation since October 7. 0. Robert De Niro's publicist denies actor was shouting at pro-Palestine protesters in viral clip. 0. Trump says police clearing Colombia protesters was a beautiful thing to watch.
NBC commented as, Russia is trying to exploit America's divisions over the war in Gaza. 0. Saudi Arabia steps up arrests of those attacking Israel online, as U.S. Saudis close in on historic defense pact. Blinken meets Netanyahu and heads for Gaza. 0. China-friendly Jeremiah Manil picked as Solomon Islands PM by lawmakers.
Mass fish die-off in Vietnam as heat wave roasts Southeast Asia. 0. Cambodia says scorching heat played a role in ammunition explosion at army base that killed 20 soldiers. 0. Road collapse in southern China kills 48, state media reports.
Georgian police crack down on pro-EU protesters, making dozens of arrests, and Georgian opposition leader beaten by riot police after protests against Russian law. 0. Georgian lawmakers move closer to passing Russian law, targeting the media. Protesters gather again. Foreign agents law to accelerate Georgia's European integration, Prime Minister says. Last week, bipartisan group of U.S. senators warns Georgia over foreign agent law.
Lebanese Christian leader says Hezbollah's fighting with Israel has harmed Lebanon. 0. China says Hamas and Fatah voice will for Palestinian reconciliation. 0. Hamas official says Blinken ceasefire comments are attempt to pressure the group.
Ukrainians to reunify with Russia in 10 years, says Ukraine origin tycoon Viktor Medvedchuk, and claimed U.S. seeking to throw Balts, Poles, Germans, French into fire of war. 0. Zelensky says Ukraine will join NATO only after defeating Russia. 0. First batch of F-16s to arrive in Ukraine after Easter, says Ukrainian Air Force spokesperson. 0. U.S. says Russia used choking agents against Ukrainian troops, breaching chemical weapons ban.
Linkin Park are indeed considering a reunion tour with a female singer, 0. or Richard Tandy, Electric Light Orchestra's longtime keyboardist and the voice of Mr. Blue Sky, dies at 76. 0. Dwayne Eddy, whose twang changed rock and roll, dies at 86.
Police enter pro-Palestine UCLA encampment after students refuse to disperse. 0. Columbia City College protests lead to nearly 300 arrests. Mayor blames movement to radicalize young people. 0. U.S. Congress passes bill to expand definition of anti-Semitism amid growing campus protests over Gaza war. 0. Brown University agrees to hold Israel divestment vote after pressure from student protesters. New cuttlefish malware hijacks router connections, sniffs for cloud credentials. 0. Android malware peeper uses compromised WordPress sites to hide C2 servers. 0. Zloader malware evolves with anti-analysis trick from Zeus banking Trojan.
Security drive. Bitcoin's Ethereum-style programmability could come in 12 months, Rootstock founder says. 0. Tether reports record $4.52 billion profit in Q1 despite shrinking market share. 0. Bitcoin could drop further to as low as $50,000, Standard Chartered says. Razer Incorporated to pay more than $1.1 million for misrepresenting the performance and efficacy of supposed N95 grade Zephyr face masks. 0. HSBC boss Noel Quinn steps down as bank reports first quarter profit that beat estimates thanks to sale of Canadian business. In Kenya, over 42 people dead after Kijabe Dam burst its banks. 0. At least 25 dead in Peru after bus plunges into ravine. Embattled grocery startup Getir exits the US and Europe, will refocus on Turkey. 0. WeWork agrees restructuring deal that shuts out Adam Newman's comeback bid. 0. KFC faces battering over Palestine in Malaysia, over 100 units shut. China cuts air pollution after reimposing winter controls, announced Korea. 0. U.S. energy-related CO2 emissions decreased by 3% in 2023. 0. Renewable energies cover 56% of electricity consumption in Germany in Q1. Southeast Asia heat breaches records and prompts gas buying, as Thailand's heat index tops 52 degrees as Philippines risks overloaded power systems. 0. G7 agrees to shut down coal plants by 2035, UK minister says, in climate breakthrough. 0. Bangladesh again closes schools nationwide due to heat wave. Former NSA employee who tried to spy for Russia sentenced to 21 years, and German former army officer admits spying for Russia, blames fear of nuclear war. 0. France says, almost all EU states target of Russian propaganda, and EU to probe Meta over handling of Russian disinformation. 0. Von der Leyen criticizes European far-right for being Putin's proxies.
World War I tactics make a comeback as a Ukrainian gunner in the back of a propeller plane shoots down a Russian drone. 0. Italy has given Ukraine long-range missiles, says UK Defense Minister. 0. NATO chief chides members as Ukraine's allies say slow arms deliveries have helped Russia.